Hello students, welcome to the Lesson 12 online class meeting. This will be our last class meeting of the course. I'm a little sad about it, but I'm excited to share the material today with you, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about social psychology and talk a little bit also about developmental psychology and some of the overlaps extending on the report on prosocial behavior you did this week. So this week you've read, presumably by now, the different things about social psychology experiments, the Milgram experiment, Asch conformity study, and these results may have surprised you. And you may have thought as you've read this, oh, I would not have acted that way, I would not have been that way, I would not have conformed, I would not have obeyed the authority when it meant hurting someone. And the truth is, you're probably wrong. You would probably have done exactly what those people did. Very few people actually take the other steps and do something positive and prosocial in those situations. So we're going to talk right now a little bit about how to do prosocial actions, how to combat the bystander effect, and research that's being done to do those kinds of things. So while it's a little unfortunate that that's what most people do, it doesn't mean we have to be stuck in that way. So there are a lot of calls from parents, teachers, and public to improve the moral education of citizens, of students in schools, of the general population. The parents, teachers, and the public see these social problems such as bullying, school shootings, drugs and violence, more bullying, cheating, vandalism. They see these things as social problems and maybe indicative of a moral deficit. Parents worry about their children growing up without traditional values. Teachers claim that their students seem ethically shallow. And the public sees scandals involving government officials, popular religious leaders, and business executives. Revelations of sexual assault, dishonesty, and hypocrisy flood the news media. In addition, there's research showing that prosocial behavior of adolescents, of young people, has declined. This is actually from a study that I've done, and it shows that from 1970s up to 2010, most different organizations that could be donated to by adolescents were the donation trends dropped in almost all of them, as you can see. There were a few that had some exciting jumps, which has some great implications for encouraging donation and prosocial behavior, but that's not actually what this discussion is about. So we'll ignore that for now. But back to the moral deficit, there has been a lot of calls for character education in schools. So first, with President Clinton, in his 1996 State of the Union address, stated, "I challenge all our schools to teach character education, to teach good values and good citizenship." President Bush also promoted character education, and he even tripled the funding for the Department of Education program that funded it. And President Obama proclaimed on the week of October 17th through the 23rd of 2010 as National Character Counts Week, and he continues funding character education under a different name. So now we're going to talk about the connection of the social psychology that you've read this week to heroism, to prosocial behavior. And one of the best people to learn that from is Phil Zimbardo. So you'll next hear a talk from Phil Zimbardo, a TED Talk. I want you to start it at about 9 minutes in so that you'll miss some of the talk, but that's alright. We don't have a whole lot of time today. And also that first part of the talk talks a lot about military atrocities and has some graphic images of the military atrocities in Iraq and things that they did to prisoners, which, while is good in making the point about evil, is not necessarily directly related to the topic we're going to be covering. So make sure you start the video at about 9 minutes in so you go directly to the relevant material we're covering. So Phil Zimbardo is a researcher. He was at Stanford University. He's now semi-retired. He goes around talking about hero development, attending conferences and things like that. I've been able to sit down with him and talk about research on heroism. So it's really exciting to hear his views and how his journey developed into the creation of heroes. So again, start the next video of the TED Talk about 9 minutes in and watch it all the way through, and I'll be back with you in a few minutes.